Eastern Michigan falls 52-27 to Texas State. In a game that going into it, I thought that this defense was going to be able to help out this offense while they kind of get it going a little bit, try to figure things out, obviously, with a bunch of new guys here, but returning some guys that had some impact, but that isn't exactly what happened in this game, unfortunately. I thought that this offense for Eastern Michigan had some pretty great playmakers, some playmakers that really started to step up a little bit. It really starts out with one guy that I thought was one of the best players on this Eastern Michigan team, especially offense, and that is Dontae McMillan, the running back. He had 9 carries, 78 yards, did have a couple of catches as well, 3 catches for 35 yards. I thought he was the best playmaker that Eastern Michigan had in this game. Now, he did have some help from Terry Lockett Jr., 5 receptions, 62 yards. Those two were really kind of the main playmakers for this Eastern Michigan team that was starting a new starting quarterback this year, not one that hadn't had experience, because Noah Kim has had starting experience at Michigan State, and he played pretty well in this game. 23 for 34, 248, 1 touchdown. If you look at the stats and just how this Eastern Michigan team played as a whole, offensively, I really don't think there's a ton that you can really complain about, because you had guys step up in positions to able to really put up points for this Eastern Michigan team. The main problem wasn't the offense, in my opinion, because if you put up 27 points, it's a decent performance. It's not like the best performance you can have, but what truly matters in this game and to Eastern Michigan was this defense. When you give up 52 points in a game, you're not going to win a ton of games overall. Like, that was the major issue for this team, and that really starts out with the run defense. They gave up almost 400 yards on the ground in 39 carries. 392 yards on 39 carries. That is over 10 yards on average. Now, they gave up 3 touchdowns and gave up 4 touchdowns through the air through Brad Jackson, who went 18 for 26, 214 yards. So they could obviously fix the secondary as well, but they gave up over 600 yards of total offense. Like, that is not going to be good enough. That is not going to win them any games. Now, obviously, with the production that they lost from last year, it is going to take some time to get used to kind of this defense, these transfers, everything. But for a lot of teams, it truly seems like defense is the one that kind of comes early. That's not the case at all. Like, this game, Texas State was able to do whatever they want. Like, Lincoln Pear had 12 carries for 167 yards. Greg Burrell had 7 carries for 79 yards. Jalen Jenkins had 5 carries for 74 yards. Then you also look at these wide receivers, 7 receptions for 82 yards, 5 receptions for 50 yards. Chris Don, a guy that I talked about in the preview, that was his stats. Like, they allowed Bo Sparks 7 receptions, 82 yards, 4 touchdowns. He was the only wide receiver on this Texas State team to score. Like, he scored every single touchdown catching the ball. Like, there's some issues here. Now, is there panic? Is there anything to be extremely concerned about? Like, it's game 1. But if you really want to panic about this team, about this Eastern Michigan team, it's going to be this secondary. It's going to be this defense as a whole. If you do not fix these issues, if teams run for 10 yards on average, if teams are throwing for over 200 yards, over 600 yards total, that's the major concern. I don't think there's really a ton of concern offensively with this team. I think this team has enough weapons to win games in the back. Now, is this going to be a team that's going to win a ton of games? Is this going to be a team that's going to go to a bowl because they missed it last year? I don't necessarily know. It's going to be a difficult road. It's going to take a lot of fixing to do. But I think with the coaching staff, with this kind of wake up against Texas State, I do hope that this Eastern Michigan team does perform better, because I think they have enough offensively to win games. But it's just amazing watching this team watching this game and just seeing Texas State do whatever they wanted to against Eastern Michigan. Like, Eastern Michigan tried. I definitely think they tried. It's unfortunate because it's a game that I thought that Eastern Michigan was going to lose. It was a game I was pretty confident in that just because I think this Texas State team is pretty good and because of how much production this team is losing. But I did not fully expect this team to give up over 600 yards of offense to Texas State. I thought this team would be a little bit better defensively. I didn't think this team would perform as well offensively as they did, but maybe that's a good sign. Maybe you can fix this defense. Maybe this offense under Noah Kim can get going because you have enough pieces on offense. You have guys that did contribute in this game. And if they continue to do that, maybe they win a couple of games. Maybe they get to a bowl game. But they definitely have a lot to fix. They definitely have a lot to work on. And it really truly starts with stopping the run. If Eastern Michigan can stop the run, that will definitely help. But is not going to be something that's going to be easy because going up against a team like Texas State, giving up almost 400 yards on the ground, you're going to be facing tougher opponents than that this year. And if you can't fix that, it might be a long season for Eastern Michigan. But tough game for Eastern Michigan. Like seeing Noah Kim, Terry Lockett Jr., like seeing Dontae, McMillan, those guys contribute. Those guys are going to be constant playmakers for this offense. If they can continue to do that, if they can get help defensively, I think this Eastern Michigan team will perform better, but it's going to start from the defensive side of the ball. It's going to take time. There's going to be a lot of new transfers. There's going to be a lot of players that are going to have to play. And if they can get things figured out a little bit, I think that's going to help them going forward. But yeah, tough game for Eastern Michigan. Don't love seeing this from any team, especially in the state of Michigan, especially for an Eastern Michigan team that I think their coaching staff's really good. I think their head coach has been extremely successful there. Disappointing last year, disappointing start to this season. Hopefully they can bounce back in their next game. But yeah, that's really what happens when you lose 52-27. Not the performance I don't think anyone really wanted. And yeah, this Texas State team did whatever they wanted offensively. And Eastern had good looks offensively. Just when you give up 52 points, not much else you can do there. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this recap, a little bit of a shorter recap, but when you have a game like this, there's not a ton to go into because everyone defensively needs to be better. And offensively, they were pretty solid. Could be a little bit better, but had enough solid playmaking from a couple of guys that could help them throughout this year. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Obviously, we'll preview the next game. Hopefully, Eastern performs a little bit better. I'll kind of talk about what these teams look like going in the future for running the ball. If they can fix that, it'll definitely help them out. But yeah, thank you for tuning into this episode and tune in to the next one.